I have no mods downloaded. This gameplay has been mostly put towards no modding. This is a full game. And what you have to do, you have to first teleport to, well, you have to go here on the map, so you have to go to Cambridge Campus Diner. Go here. This location right here, you'll see it if you loot this area over here. Go walk straight out. Now I found this by accident. If you jump here and walk into the wall, you'll fall down. You're under the map when you do this. Your companion, mine is strong, will not be able to follow you. So that's how you show that you're under the map, but it's still kind of weird how to get under this. I don't understand how it happened. Like that, this is the only wall you're able to walk out of, and as you can see, it goes outwards, the shots. So it's really weird, and I just wanted to say that. And also, welcome. This stream, oh, let me show you where I'm at right now. Here, I have to find the railroad and have a courser chip analyzed. So, what I have to do is go here, here, here. Whoa. What is it? Oh, it's the game. I have a lot of keys.
Wake up, Commonwealth. Since they're not your enemy, they are victims in this war as well. True, they were created by the Institute, but they were created as slaves. Thinking, feeling, and dreaming beings, utterly oppressed by their tyrannical masters. So join with us in fighting the real enemy, the Institute. Join the Railroad. When you're ready for that next step, don't worry, we'll find you.
So that tape was pretty important because it seems weird, but you know. What's this? No. S. Being too long. Sorry, I missed you. At Megaton. Looks like history repeats itself. But as promised, here's the gear I scrounged up. All the best and stay safe. The Commonwealth is its own kind of hell. E. Okay. It's pretty weird to have a note. Whatever. I know it's an Easter egg of something, but you know. Does it look like my channel's made for Easter eggs? No, because it's not. So, it seems like they all have this in my Pikmin's call card. Raider. That bomb would have one-shot me. So what level am I right now? Almost level 25? Yeah. I believe I was level 19 last time you saw me. That stupid, like, string. I know I've been here before, but it seems like all the loot respawn. Which is kind of weird. Oh, a red chest. Let's go. Lego. Wasn't that good, but you know, it's still red chest, man. Seem like there's enemies nearby. What the? There's just a chair here. If I fall, I die. Okay, well, as you can see, it's kind of a average game now. I have all these quests I can do. The Big Dig. Kill the super mutants. Not here. I don't know. I ain't no millionaire. Sorry guys,
Is it ever okay to steal someone else's baby name? My friend stole my baby's name, but I ended up stealing her husband, so who's the real winner in the end? Sandra? Now chicken should be cooked. Brown on the outside, pink on the inside. Hashtag medium rare. No, it's not okay. This is not how chicken should be cooked. It's fine for mammals, not...
There you are. Was wondering if you were gonna show up. Yes, it's me. I have to hide my face in these parts. People like me aren't allowed around here. Now let's get down to business. That big wall of glass looming over Diamond City is the mayor's office. Most people don't know it, but there's a strong room buried beneath. Mayor's just sitting on top of it. And that's our target. The guy has it coming if you ask me. With how he treats my kind, maybe he deserves worse.
Let's get started. Bobby.
There you are. Was wondering if you were gonna show up. Yes, it's me. I have people like me on...
Right.
Now, that big... the guy...
Let's get started.
I like your
Sure.
So, I managed to think I could thing it. You
If you really think we need this guy.
trust me. Just
You see that big blimp?
it's the Brotherhood of Steel.
Officer, you got something to say? I'll give you 300 caps to let Mel out of there.
Keep your voice down, will you? I shouldn't be doing this. Fine. Need him that bad.
All right, you're free to go, buddy. Heard you rescued Valentine. Scares the hell out of me.
Nicky, he ain't like those Institute psychos.
Let's just get out of here.
Mel.
I'm curious what this is about, but let's talk once we make some distance, okay?
Thought the game really just bamboozled me like that.
Thanks for getting me out. So, you're Bobby's new toy.
Bobby asked me to get you out.
I bet it was just out of the kindness of her huge heart, right? God, that woman doesn't have a patient bone in her body. I wasn't serving a life sentence here. What, she couldn't wait like a day? What's the job?
How'd you like to help break into the Diamond City strong room?
Well, damn. That's a big score. Could be enough caps there to keep me going for a long time. Bobby may be shady, but she always pays up to me. So, guess I'll get my stuff.
Okay. I don't like bribing people in this game, but you know, whatever. I believe I still have that 3 charisma thing. Do you eat the ice cream with or without the bone? I'd rather not.
The Levion Chocolate Diamond Jubilee Ring. Every you make life sweet begins with K.
I recently published a video showing off the secrets found at the bottom of the ocean outside Boston. That video was such a success that I went on and did a video about similar secrets found at the bottom of the ocean around the island near Far Harbor. But now I'm running out of bodies of water to explore. So naturally, next on the list, we are going to the Glowing Sea. But don't let the name fool you. This isn't a sea. And unlike my previous videos, we won't have to do funny things with depth of field to remove the underwater effect. That's because the Glowing Sea is no sea at all. Found in the southwesternmost corner of the map, the Glowing Sea is the impact site for one of the largest nuclear bombs that the Chinese dropped on the Boston area during the Great War. Instead of swimming through a sea of salt water, we will be wading through a sea of radiation. To start this adventure, we will walk south along the road from Natick Banks. Here, the road dissolves before us and turns into a tree-strewn, rubble-filled, sunken, irradiated wasteland. The Glowing Sea takes up a roughly circular spot on the map, so we're going to try and cover every inch of the thing by zigzagging across it. We're going to first go west towards the abandoned shack. Once we hit there, we're going to go east towards a hidden cave. Then we're going to zigzag back to explore a capsized factory, and so on until we explore the entire thing and end at the crater of Atom. Now, unlike my video on the ocean floor, the Glowing Sea is filled with enemies. In particular, we will fight a number of Deathclaws and Scorpions, some of the toughest enemies in the entire game. The Dead Skull Scorpions, in particular, are really tough for me, even though I'm wearing power armor. You'll watch me just sit here with my Gatling laser pointed at the thing, and the Scorpion's armor causes the lasers to just bounce off. Once we reach the glowing sea, the weather changes. It goes from a nice clear day with blue skies to an irradiated day with a sickly green haze. Now, I could have used console commands to remove this, but I think the sickliness of it, the greenishness of it, is so characteristic of the glowing sea that I would be misrepresenting the place if I removed it. And I think we will get enough detail, so I left it in. Now, one of the things I want to talk about while exploring the glowing sea is more than just the human relics we find, but also the geology. How was the glowing sea formed? That topic has always interested me. I talked a little bit about it when I did my video on the Atlantic offices, but I want to go into greater detail here. As we walk around, we see this cracked mud on the ground. This, of course, is reminiscent of a dried lake bed. You go to Nevada, you go to California, you can sometimes find these huge salt flats, these sort of ancient lake beds that have dried up, condensing the salt into thin layers on top of the seabed, but underneath this cracked mud. Yet here in the glowing sea, the cracked mud is often right near to still wet pools and bubbles. This makes sense because there's a lot of weather here. It's not a desert. We see lightning strikes going off in the distance and thick clouds converging above us. Todd Howard, in 2015, while he was at E3, described the glowing sea and said that the rad storms in the wastes are actually born from the glowing sea. What happens is rain clouds will sail over the glowing sea, and as they travel over, will pick up a lot of the radiation emanating from the crater, bring it with them across Boston, and rain it down on the other areas. The reason we have rad storms in Boston is because of the glowing sea. The radiation emanating from the dried mud is so strong that it's absorbed and picked up by passing rain clouds. But one of the reasons I think the glowing sea is still so toxic today, 200 years after the bomb has dropped, whereas other places in Boston have more or less recovered, is because the glowing sea is in a really shallow part of Boston. As we get closer, we see this big hedge of stones start to encircle us. Part of this is game design. They don't want you to wander on off, so they've got this big wall of rock to serve as the edge of the world. But there are other places, particularly in the southeastern part of Boston, where they just put an invisible wall in your way, so the big rocky walls aren't necessarily needed for game design. Instead, they're telling us that this part of the Commonwealth is possibly below sea level. If we go east towards Vault 95, we see that the vault is built into a rocky hillside that separates the rest of the Commonwealth from the glowing sea. Coming south from Natick Banks, you watch, we went over a small ridge and now we're going down into a basin. So what I think is happening here is this place was hit with a huge hole. I'm Todd, and the founder of the Santa Clarita Police. Our goal is to make sure everyone in Santa Clarita has the skills, the knowledge, and the resources to have a home cooked meal every day. Who's there? Instead of washing all of the radioactive material out to the sea, the rain will make pools and the sun will dry it away. The rain will make more pools and the sun will dry it away. Like layers of salt appear on dry lake beds that were once filled with salty water. Layers of toxic waste and radioactive material stacks and stacks and stacks and builds up in the glowing sea, making it more irradiated and more hazardous to your health. I think the unique topology of this area is one of the reasons that it's still so highly irradiated 200 years after the bombs dropped, even though in real life people have moved back into areas that were once bombed by nuclear weapons. And even in the Fallout world, at least in Fallout 4, there are still places in the Commonwealth that are more or less free from radiation. Speaking about unique topology, while exploring the glowing sea, we find some buildings that appear where they should be, like shacks sitting on top of the earth,
get Sonya over here.
Buildings that appear to be sunken. There's even a factory here called the Capsule. You'll find buses and cars that are submerged, not beneath water, but beneath mud and toxic waste. We'll even find human bones embedded in the soil. I think what likely explains this is the natural phenomenon of liquefaction. This typically happens during earthquakes. I talked a little bit about this during the analysis, and there was a great discussion. Something happens, like a huge earthquake that makes the soil unstable, the earth unreliable, or
We need Sonya here.
a huge nuclear detonation. The earth can act like a liquid instead of a solid. Things that were buried in the ground like sewer pipes can suddenly stick up, and giant factories or buildings that are just built on the soil and not attached to bedrock can sit down beneath this liquefaction. Buried structures and people and buildings. Additionally, the impact of the initial bomb was so great that it material all over the glowing sea. The blast itself is clearly responsible for annihilating we find walls and everything else in this world. But the blast also we'll find some of those in a moment. It reminds me of pyroclastic flows. Now, I live in Washington State, so when I was in school, I learned a lot about the eruption of Mount St. Helens, and as a child, they would show me video footage of the entire side of the mountain just collapsing and falling down to earth. This was a pyroclastic flow. The eruption of Mount St. Helens was so severe that the rock just detached from the side of the mountain, and a huge avalanche of dirt and lava and rock slid down the side of the mountain, covering a huge area of land, destroying everything in its path. I think some of the material ejected by this nuclear blast may have acted a lot like a pyroclastic flow. Hot or radiated, molten rock, ash, and dirt flowing across this area, covering people, cars, houses, and buildings, and then burning people to death, causing them to suffocate. And there were a lot of people here because this area, the glowing sea, this wasn't a huge industrial spot. This wasn't a big military base, although there were military targets here. This was a residential area. We do find military targets, we do find some factories, but what we find more than anything are playgrounds and ramblers and neighborhoods. In the Fallout world, this area of Boston must not have been subject to zoning regulations that would have moved factories and military bases of operation into sectors. In this part of the glowing sea, we find industrial buildings, all big abandoned shack that was built specifically to blend into this suburban.
Over here, Mel.
This place got hit because there was a lot of military activity going on here. We'll find a sentinel site, which was the home of many nuclear warheads, and we'll find a military surveillance bunker. So there was definitely a reason for the Chinese to attack. But amongst all of those military targets, we find a suburban area, white picket fences, cars, and a lot of playgrounds. While exploring the glowing sea, we were walking on top of the grave of countless human beings who died during this blast. Much were children. Now, we've been exploring the federal supply base 84 is one of the first bunkers we come upon south of the glowing sea from the main base. When you arrive, everything is quiet, but there's a circuit breaker inside that you can flip, which turns on the security defenses here. 2 protectrons will come on out, and then you'll have to either hack them or destroy them. And then going back outside, the laser turrets on top of the building will attack. We don't find any lore here, but there are beds and plenty of buff out and chems to loot. You can access a terminal, which will unlock the supply cache, where we find some chems and ammunition. Walking west at this point, we come upon one of the first playgrounds, giving us another indication that this might have been a plot for someone's backyard. You see the ruins of residential houses nearby. But walking west of here, we reach the abandoned shack. This shack is actually a front. Beneath this shack is a sprawling surveillance bunker where the Americans would intercept and spy on Chinese transmissions. After exploring the bunker, an elevator will appear This surveillance bunker was camouflaged to look like just a regular house in this suburban neighborhood, but underneath you have an extremely sophisticated I explored this entire bunker, and they dedicated to the the abandoned shack, so I won't do so here. But inside you can find a whole suit of leveled power armor and a U.S. covert operations which will bad for Kate. She didn't have her helmet on, and here she is in an irradiated wasteland, so I went ahead and put her helmet back on. So, we've zigged, it's time to zag. Walking east across this devastation, we come upon scorpion after scorpion. These skull scorpions are really tricky. We come to another ruins. One building is left in better condition than most, but still half of it is gone. Inside we find some Radaway and Buffout sitting on top of some crates that are magically not sliding down this floor, and also another wooden crate filled with loot. Continuing west we come upon a playground. This playground has a spaceship slide, monkey bars, a couple of swing sets, and a jungle gym. There are cars parked nearby and a fence going around it. This must have been a neighborhood park for the families to come and let their kids play. It was right next to a road though. This is a collapsed overpass that went north through Natick Banks. This is the road that disappeared as we tried to follow it south into the glowing sea. We're now exploring a huge rubble pile of twisted metal from destroyed buildings and concrete from this fallen overpass. Here we find an unmarked location. This is a Red Rocket truck stop with an interior cell. Like many of the buildings here, it is partially sunken into the floor. Going inside, we look beautiful, the interior cell. Talking about this area. See, you can go inside and activate a button to raise the garage door. Inside we find a van with a wooden crate, but as you can see we can't get out. It's impacted. One half-hanging fluorescent light. It casts beautiful shadows, and light plays on the water in here. It's a beautiful place. Inside we find one master locked safe, and that's really about it. Heading out from here though, we find a cave. This is one of two caves, packed with twisted metal that came off of nearby houses, and molten mud and rock from the pyroclastic flows that we find here in the glowing sea. It's just an interesting geological feature. There's no real good loot in here. Continuing east, we can go back instead, we can climb to the top of it. There was a truck carrying cargo containers, and inside we find a whole bunch of safes. These safes have just funny. This was a company paying this driver to transfer these safes to businesses that purchased them. The safes wouldn't already have loot inside of them. I suppose maybe a company was moving, maybe the military was moving to a new office, and so they packed up a bunch of safes that already had loot inside of them to take them to the new offices. But some of these are already broken, the doors having fallen off, the contents looted long ago by scavengers. This is a high point in the glowing sea. We can hop up on top of these shipping containers to see a great view of the nearby wastes. Even though the sun is setting and we're in the middle of the glowing sea, we can still kinda see the tops of some of the skyscrapers off in the distance. I took this opportunity to wait until daybreak. I wanted to make sure to explore in the best light possible. Here I started to turn south. We find a lot of rad roaches clinging to the wall of a nearby building. And that's the theme here, scorpions, death claws, and lots of bugs. Not a whole lot of mammals, although we do find mole rats. Zigging west, we find the ruins of some sort of factory. Giant pipes stick out of the ground, and it looks like a nearby billboard has fallen on top.
Mel,
I was just about to explore when I got distracted by a beautiful sight off in the distance. A death claw, but it's pure white. It almost looked like it was glowing. Far more white than the albino death claws we are used to. As I approached, I realized it was a chameleon death claws. These bad boys change colors as you fight them. And even after they die, their corpses will change colors too. So it looks like the Jackson chameleon has not completely lost its ability to change colors. The evolved trait must still exist somewhere in the genes of these death claws. Back to the capsized factory, we enter by going through a hole in what was once the roof. This portion of the factory has long since sunken beneath the mud. Here at the top of the stairs we find a lot of chems and luckily some Radaway and Rad-X. It's convenient that pre-war people set out a bunch of this radiation protecting chems, almost as if they knew this place was going to be highly irradiated someday. Heading through a door we arrive at the top of a catwalk where we see a slew of feral ghouls wandering the factory floor. They race up the catwalk to attack.
A little further north of here.
Pain Train is a whole lot of fun
How
to
about a
use
little
against these
trust for
feral
the
ghouls.
boss?
In one of the pods on the factory floor, we find more right-of-way conveniently placed here, and then a big advanced
Look at this
locked
place.
safe.
One
Exploring
blast and
further
stuff.
awakens even more of these ghouls.
Being
The
the
creatures
rules
here
of
are
this
so high level that I walked away with a whole lot of legendary weapons. Both Kate's inventory and mine were filled to the brim with legendary weapons. On the opposite end of this factory floor, we can go through a doorway labeled Exit, and then a bloated glowing one crawls down from the ceiling to
Foundation and
attack.
all. Everybody clear.
We can go out the exit. This normally would have led right outside, but as you can see, the entire exit is blocked with twisted metal. We can go back up the stairs and across the catwalk to exit through a big hole in the concrete wall. This leads us back to where we were. Continuing west, we approach the Atlantic offices. Nearby is an interesting scene. We find a bus that is completely sunken in this mud. More evidence of liquefaction. And the bones of the people who were riding this bus have risen to the top of this mud. Bones are scattered all around this area, just outside the bus stop, pouring out of this bus and flowing down the hill. The nearby bus stop is also completely sunken, with only the monitor sticking out. Up the hill, we reach the Atlantic offices, an interesting location, but I did an entire video dedicated to this place and the cut content that was supposed to be here, so I won't get into too much detail here. I encourage you to check out that video. Inside, we just find a whole bunch of ghouls. Heading northwest of here, we kill a lot of bugs and shoot a lot of scorpions to climb a steep hillside until we reach a small valley. Here at the bottom of the valley is the Forgotten Church, completely buried. Nearby, we find the broken bell tower, or clock tower. It's beautiful, but completely destroyed. To enter, we can peer through a gap. I didn't see any feral ghouls or enemies in there, so I just jumped on down. In the corner of this Forgotten Church is a steamer trunk filled with loot, and that's it. It's beautiful, but it's tiny. I think there may be a scripted event where once you loot this chest, a chameleon deathclaw appears, because as soon as I did, Kate, who was still topside, got attacked by one. So I raced over to the fallen tree, walked across it to jump up and see her under attack. It was a legendary chameleon deathclaw, probably one of my favorite enemies in the game. It's here that we bump up against the edge of the world. We can't go any more west, so turning south, we bypass the ruins of even more residential buildings to find a very interesting geologic feature. You see this organ sensation? It's almost as if there's something hot directly beneath the surface. I thought maybe it was coming from this tree. It looks like the leaves are distorted light. But walking a little further south, I found another spot. It's not just the trees, but this area, possibly the cracked earth, is emitting this heat or fuel substance that is distorting visible light. We reach two big dome objectives with pipes sticking out of them. A chameleon deathclaw was hiding in one of these big bulbs, and as we get closer, we learn that this is the decayed reactor site. The Deathclaw ran, and so I chased, but as soon as I killed him, I got attacked by 3 more scorpions. Oh my gosh, they just come from nowhere. Going back to explore the reactor, there's a little bit of a bunker right next to the ruins. Inside the bunker, it's just a huge disaster. There's not a whole lot. Behind an open security gate, we find a few nuclear reactors with the corpse of a soldier inside. And inside we find a switch, but flipping the circuit breaker doesn't really do much. A siren goes off, lights outside start to blare, and then it just stops. Not sure why. These big domes are fascinating to me. They're so majestic and thematic, but I didn't really know enough about nuclear technology to understand what these were, so I did a little bit of research. And it looks like these big domes were containment buildings for a nuclear reactor. In particular, these giant bulbs look a lot like the 2 containment domes at the Diablo Canyon power plant in California. These domes contained the reactor. The
Look,
uranium
hold position.
fuel was stored inside
Look
a
alive.
reactor vessel inside these domes, and then the reactor was cooled with a reactor coolant, usually water, typically from some sort of groundwater. Now there are many types of ways to cool a reactor. What I think this one would have been a pressurized water cooler. Inside the dome you would have the reactor core with the uranium and the rods and all of that, but then you would have a big tank filled with the coolant. This water then gets vaporized by the active fission in the reactor, and then the steam would go and power a steam generator, which would then provide electricity to the surrounding area. This decayed reactor site must have been a pressurized water reactor, providing electricity to this community. We don't find much else here other than the corpse of a child of Adam. Heading west to continue along our zigzag, we come to a flat plain with some shallow pools inside. And it's here that we typically find a lot of feral ghouls. This site in particular, I got swarmed by a whole bunch of them. There are quite a few shallow pools like this, swarming with feral ghouls in the glowing sea. This is more evidence, I think, of the inability of the glowing sea to actually drain away any of the water that lands here, which is why the pools that have accumulated here are filled with such radioactive toxic material. Nearby are the ruins of more residential buildings. One is partially intact. We can climb into the rooftop of one, where we find a wooden crate with some ammunition, a first aid kit, and a toolbox. Continuing west, we stumble upon a super duper mart. This is an unmarked location. The mart itself is completely covered with no entrance to be seen, but the nearby parking garage does have one door, still above the ground. Upon entering, Kate has something to say.
Wait a damn second. Where'd all the ferals go?
Well, she is right. There are not a whole lot of ferals. We find a few feral corpses outside. Heading into a nearby wrecked bus, we see that it leads down to the floor below, but let's finish exploring this floor before we go any further. In one corner of the building, we find two feral ghouls sleeping on the ground. After killing them, we see that this was their campsite. These people must have come here, seeking shelter after the bombs dropped. Only the radiation turned them into feral ghouls. They were surviving on treats they found in the supermarket. We find stacks of Dandy Boy apples on top of cinder blocks and crates. There's a nearby security gate that we can unlock. Doing so, we can loot a first aid kit, a toolbox, and a wooden crate. If we try to go up the ramp, we see that it's completely blocked in by cars. This gives us only one direction left to go, and that's to drop down into this flooded bottom floor. Here we don't see any ghouls. Kate was right. No ghouls to be seen. I wonder why, and then we learn why. In the corner, an alpha deathclaw with its horns turned up like a demon emerges from the water and attacks. Behind one wall, near a blocked-off elevator exit, we find a steamer trunk filled with end-of-dungeon loot. On the wall next to this is an advertisement for the Giddy-Up Buttercup. Every girl's fantasy, now a reality. Only $16,000? Oh my god. That Fallout inflation, man, gets you every time. We can find a working elevator in the corner over here, thankfully. Taking this elevator, we see that the horrible elevator music is still intact after 200 years. The elevator lets us out to the top floor parking of the parking garage, which in the year 2287 is the ground floor of the glowing sea. It's time to zag west. Doing so, we encounter and dispose of more of the glowing sea fauna until we see the steeple of another church sticking out of the mud. As we get close, we see feral ghouls walking around on one of the top floors. Heading up top, we can peer inside to see ghouls all over the floor. I decided to jump down and ignite the oil. Holy cow, it's a whole lot of ghouls here, and they are fun to kill with a Gatling laser. Now this is one of the locations that you get sent to by exploring the nearby relay tower. It comes with an interesting minor side story. I'm not going to spoil it here. If you're interested, you can watch my video on the nearby relay tower, which you can watch here to find that full story. Back outside and going east, we find another overpass going into downtown Boston. Following this one takes us to the edge of the glowing sea. There's no building here, just a big broken overpass, but it does mark the point where the glowing sea ends and the Commonwealth begins. Heading south of here, we can go to Waypoint Echo. Won't exist in every game. This is a Brotherhood of Steel installation. Also near this point is Vault 95. Built into the side of the mountain range, separating the rest of the Commonwealth from the giant basin, which allowed for the formation of the glowing sea. South of here is Relay Tower 0DB521. This is the video I just showed you a moment ago. Raising the dishes on this relay tower opens up 3 new radio broadcasts on your Pip-Boy, taking you to 3 interesting places here in the glowing sea. Going west again, we find a vertibird wreckage site. I'm not sure why this exists. We see vertibird crashing all the time. Why did Bethesda decide to make a vertibird wreck a marked location in the glowing sea? Maybe to make fast travel easier, I suppose? Southwest of here, walking over a whole bunch of rubble, we find another cave. This cave is one of the destinations you're sent to when you activate the relay signals. Inside you'll find a Raider corpse using this ham radio and a full suit of Raider power armor, but I have long since looted both. Heading west, we find a whole bunch of mole rats, only to go over a hill to find a whole bunch more ghouls waiting around in this toxic, goopy water. At length, we arrive at the O'Neill Family Manufacturing. Now, the door to this is a security door, so it's closed and we don't have access to opening it. However, we can drop down a hole in a nearby buried roof to enter the facility. Down a catwalk, we can find a pod with a first aid kit in it, and round a corner to be attacked by one charred feral ghoul. Looks like there's only one member of the O'Neill family left. Here we find a power armor repair station, a big box of ammunition, and one of the few boxed robot model kits. This is the SentryBot model kit with the unique robot model box. These boxes disappear once you loot the kit and put it together. It is a gorgeous little box, though. Nearby, we find a terminal which allows us to open the door that we saw on the roof and access some of the terminal entries here. Here we learned that the O'Neill Family Manufacturing was actually a robot repair place. William Thomas came by with a busted Mr. Handy. Thomas kept saying that the Mr. Handy always falls over to the ground 4 or 5 times a day. He said that the neighborhood kids would throw baseballs at it, but initially the technicians here couldn't find anything wrong with the robot. But after spending 16 hours looking at it, they discovered the robot had a screw loose. Yes, a literal screw loose. Evidently, the screw was bouncing around inside the robot, bumping up against a propulsion fail switch inside the robot. That's what was causing the robot to fall to the ground, so they just screwed the screws back in place. Next was for a customer named Jared Bean. The problem with this Mr. Handy is it was constantly bumping into things in the house. They spent 8 hours diagnosing the problem, and they discovered that one of the optical sensors had been wired incorrectly. This was a heavily modified robot, and it tells us a little bit about the robot scene pre-war. Looks like people were buying robots from General Atomics and Robco and modifying them. She brought in a Protectron after coworkers started to say that they were smelling some mildew coming from the bot. The technicians asked what could have possibly been going on, and Jessica sheepishly replied that the bot might have been involved in a company happy hour pool party that went on last week. So they fixed the issue by draining the lower compartment, which was completely filled with water, cleaning it, rinsing it, and drying it. Well, now that the door is unlocked, we can head on upstairs. I'm sure in here we'll find a bunch of wonderful loot. Oh no, it's a bunch of feral ghouls! Here I said there was only one member of the O'Neill family left. Now it looks like the entire O'Neill family got stuck up here in this room. But it looks like there were a bunch of other employees that died here as well. Inside the bins, we find entire human skeletons. Remember, not everyone is genetically predisposed to becoming a ghoul when exposed to radiation. Some people just die like they normally would in the real world. Looks like that's what happened here. After looting the red steamer trunk, we can head on out. I explored one of the big broken pipes nearby, not expecting to find anything. I inspected a bunch during this video, and all of them were empty, but this one wasn't. Inside we find 2 skeletons and a first aid kit. As we get close to a wrecked airplane, we'll often see a wandering Eyebot. This one isn't spewing Enclave propaganda like in Fallout 3, and you don't have to repair it like in Fallout New Vegas. I don't know the story to this little guy, he's just spewing static. But you can hack him to turn him into a temporary companion. I don't really need his help, but if I can feel like I've got Ed E watching my back even for a moment here in Fallout 4, I'm gonna take the opportunity. Heading west of this point, we come to the crash site of the Skylanes Flight 1665. This is the final destination that you go to after activating the relay tower. I covered it in that video. The light that you see blinking on the tail only blinks once you turn it on after finding the switch inside the plane, so watch that video to find out that location. Heading west, we go down into a large residential ruins area. There are some mole rats here. Nearby, we find a few leaning buildings which are interesting. One looks like a leaning water tower. I'm not sure what this is exactly. It's right next to some interesting machinery. After killing some blood bugs nearby, we can explore this machine. Looks like a grain harvester of some sort. So this tells us if a grain harvester was here, then this couldn't have been an exclusively residential area. Maybe there were small farms nearby. Then again, we are going a little bit west of the residential portion of the Glowing Sea. Maybe south of Boston they had some grain farms. It would explain why this portion seems to be a little flatter and devoid of trees. There's another big tipping structure. It looks like a bunch of canisters of some sort. Maybe they held fuel, or maybe they were for water. There could be a whole bunch of conjoined water towers, not sure. Now if we walk too far west from this point, we start to see more trees. This is the invisible line that separates the Glowing Sea from the swamps. Just south of Boston, you know, where we find Gunner's Plaza and the Murkwater construction site, that area. The sky will clear up when we get towards this area, but we're still within sight of the Glowing Sea. If we're quick, we can run back the way we came, and for a brief moment, enjoy some of the sights of the Glowing Sea without that thick, green, moody haze that we typically see. This is the same time of day. I haven't altered the time of day with any console commands for this shot, but yet we can see very clearly and very far. The Skylanes flight, the water and relay towers off in the distance, and even downtown Boston. I just so happened to discover a Deathclaw cave right beneath this rock I was standing on top of. Another beautiful chameleon Deathclaw. Off this Deathclaw, the haze had returned. The game will recalculate weather as you walk pretty quickly. I don't know the numbers. But oh no! I lost an arm! This doggone Deathclaw just knocked off one of my arms. But I remember there was a power armor station inside the O'Neill family manufacturing building. So, heading back there, going down to the basement, I can hop on out of my power armor. Thankfully, I have managed to pick up enough scrap during this trip to repair my arm. Once fully repaired, I used the opportunity to wait until daybreak, and then I traveled back south to continue where I left off. Heading west from this southernmost section, we see concrete obelisks sticking up out of the dirt. 5 of them. One with a catwalk around it, and 4 others with big fence sticking out. Near to these obelisks is the Sentinel site, a pyramid sticking out of the soil.
I saw you leave that, This whole world
Kate
is
has
like
never
some
seen anything like
bad
this before. She's never seen photos of the pyramids, most likely. I did a video dedicated to the Sentinel site, and it's probably one of the most satisfying videos that I ever did, because I got to do some research on really interesting structures built by the United States in the real world. This building is based off of a real building, and I showed off pictures and talked all about the history of that building in the video that I made on this topic. Those big obelisks that we passed are actually exhaust towers. The real world version of this building had a big missile silo. The silos were buried in the ground, and when you launched a missile, the explosions of those missile launches were funneled through those exhaust towers up into the sky. That was their purpose.
Excuse me.
But in this game, Bethesda decided to turn the
I just
pyramid
want to
itself
trade a few
into the
things.
missile silo, We find 4 holes on the tippy
I
top
still
of the
ain't
pyramid.
perfect, but
Those
we're
were the
surviving.
silos that the missiles were supposed to come
I
out
just
of.
need to trade gear with you.
An unrealistic design, the real one wasn't like that, but it is fascinating. We still find the nuclear warheads that the Brotherhood of Steel came here for, scattered in the mud just outside the door to the Sentinel site. Which is strange, I am exploring this again on my Brotherhood character, and having defeated the Institute with the Brotherhood, it's strange that the Brotherhood left these bombs just sitting outside the Sentinel site. When doing research for my video on the Sentinel site, I discovered that the original building that inspired this Sentinel site structure was retired for military use and then sold to the public at an auction. Some fellow out there paid $1 million or so for this thing and is now using it as his private home. I think that is such a cool
Sure,
thought.
let me
If I
just
was ever
stop
the
what I'm
kind of
doing to
guy
talk to you.
Slink away from public
I'm being
life and
sarcastic.
just become a hermit
Nice job with
somewhere,
those
I would
defenses.
totally do so.
I've got nothing
in an
else I need right
abandoned
now.
nuclear
I
pyramid.
think Preston may want to chat, though.
Someday. We are now walking along the invisible world boundary on the southernmost
sharp.
portion of the
Don't let your
glowing
guard
sea.
down.
Continuing
Hey,
west to
the
finish
Minutemen could
exploring, we
use
have to
someone
start
like you.
climbing a really steep hill that makes up the mountain range that creates this basin that the glowing sea is inside. Here we kill more scorpions, and I finally come upon an albino deathclaw. It's such a cool looking creature, but it just seems like it looks different from the chameleon deathclaws. From a distance, the chameleon deathclaws are almost a glowing, iridescent white color. These albino deathclaws are more like a peachy white. Bleached on the outside, but the nooks and crannies and crevices are almost a pinkish color. Still, they look amazing. After climbing the mountainside, we come to another plain. All of this cracked mud and little pools of highly irradiated water. We go southwest of this point to find a path leading to Virgil's cave. This was guarded by a chameleon deathclaw. Notice that it is a more papery white when you get close, but then of course it changes color, the chameleon deathclaw that it is. Heading onto the cave, we can see our good friend Virgil. He still has his machine gun turrets outside and his robots, but getting close, he wants nothing to do with us.
I think you should leave. I don't want visitors. Just please, leave me alone.
And that's of course because we destroyed the Institute. You know, the Brotherhood of Steel sent me here to kill Virgil. They didn't really care that he had cured himself of being a super mutant. The quest is called Unfinished Business, and even after you destroy the Institute, even though Virgil helped you to destroy the Institute, even though Virgil is completely peaceful, Lieutenant Kells sends you to murder him. Just because he is a super mutant. Very different from the Mojave chapter of the Brotherhood of Steel in Fallout New Vegas, where Elder McNamara is willing to let nearby peaceful super mutants be, because he respects them, because they're peaceful, only turning on them when they become violent. The same Brotherhood of Steel, two very different visions. In this game, I sided with the Brotherhood of Steel. In this game, I completely destroyed Acadia, but I spared Virgil's life because I rationalized it in my head. He may have been a super mutant, but he found a cure, and he is no longer a super mutant now. So I convinced Captain Kells not to kill him. North of Virgil's cave, we come upon a decrepit factory. This factory is so decrepit and smashed to bits that there's no portion we can even enter. Only a few little pods are floating above the mud here and there. In one of the pods, we find a bunch of circuitry lying out and some Rad-X, the skeleton of a man next to some circuitry. And in the middle of the pool, we see a skeletonized hand sticking out of the sinking pod. And getting close, indeed, that is exactly what this is. The entire skeleton is trying to claw its way out of this sinking pod. Is this a reference to Terminator 2? I guess he'd be happy to make a thumbs up sign for it to be a reference to Terminator 2. But it's an eerie sight nonetheless. This poor man reaching out for help as his lungs are filled with boiling irradiated water. Heading north of here, at last, we reach Ground Zero. The impact site. The place where the biggest bomb dropped on Boston landed. The crater of Adam. Of course, the children of Adam have turned this into a holy site, and as we approach, we can hear them praying.
You must suffer to truly feel Adam's embrace, until they've broken before it. Feel the gentle wash of the glow. The faithless must be punished. Adam's chosen must bring judgment to his enemies. May the glow of Adam guide your path. In the end, we are all Adam's children.
Looks like some of the faithful couldn't survive the radiation here. We do find entire skeletons lying around. Brother Ogden here is a merchant.
All those seeking Adam are welcome. Or is it something more tangible you require?
What have you got for sale?
Whatever Adam provides for us. It is not much, true, but you may find something of value.
He doesn't have a really amazing inventory. At higher levels, he's got some good explosives, but that's about it. We can explore each of these little shacks. There's not a whole lot here.
I will count the bodies of the heretics I have burned, and for each one, I bring a smile on the lips of Adam.
Good grief, Ward. That's a little dark. It's here in this camp that we'll find another copy of the astoundingly awesome tales, and we can go up and talk with Mother Isolde. Even though I've already beaten the game and gotten from her the dialogue I needed to do so, after meeting and befriending the children of Adam at Far Harbor, she has unique dialogue.
Haven't you survived down here?
In return, he has granted us his blessing and protects us from those who do us harm. None without his favor could survive in such a place.
I'm part of the church in a place called the Nucleus, near the town of Far Harbor. You know it?
Far Harbor? Few know of the land shrouded beneath Adam's veil, let alone claim to have worshipped within its sacred fog. An interesting assumption, if it's true. Perhaps we can help you.
Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you.
You are kind to me, but Adam has provided us with all that we need.
Do you have a moment?
Our brother from Far Harbor. What can I do for you, child?
Now she offers to help us, but we've already gotten her help. I suppose that line was meant for people who have not found Virgil's cave yet, but had already traveled to Far Harbor. That's that we can do Far Harbor really in any order, and the game takes that into account. It's also interesting that it seems like basking in Adam's glow is not enough for every child of Adam. Inside these little homes, we find a number of addictive substances. Cigarettes, psycho, mentats, even addictol. Looks like these guys are not above getting addicted. It's from this crater that all of the radiation from all of the red storms in the Commonwealth emanate. You can see the little sparkly bits of greenish radiation floating on up to the sky. That's what gets collected in the clouds and carried on over to the rest of the Commonwealth before it's rained down in rad storms. And as we leave the crater of Adam, those little particles disappear. Now, this wasn't the impact site for the only nuclear bomb dropped on the Commonwealth. Remember, there's also the Cambridge crater and other minor impact sites in the Commonwealth. But this must be the location where multiple bombs dropped to produce such a huge crater, or where the big bomb dropped. And it's clear what their target was. Their target was likely the Sentinel site, because it posed the greatest threat to the Chinese. The bomb, in combination with the destruction of the nuclear power plant that we explored earlier, may help explain why this one location is the most highly irradiated spot in the entire Commonwealth. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the full story of the Glowing Sea as we find it in Fallout 4. It's one of my favorite places in the game just because it's so moody, so bleak, so inhospitable. Such a challenge even at higher levels. It's this feel that Bethesda was going for when they made Fallout 3. Those who have played Fallout 3 will remember that Fallout 3 is completely bleak. There's nothing green. There's no bright area in the entire place. It's just destruction and death. In Fallout 4, more places are blue. More places are beautiful. And that was a conscious design choice. We learned from the art of Fallout 4 that Bethesda decided to change direction from Fallout 3. They didn't want everything to be quite so bleak. They wanted to show places healing after 200 years, just like you can find some beautiful places in Fallout 4. But the Glowing Sea is not one of them. For the Glowing Sea, they went back to their inspirations for Fallout 3. They wanted it to be bleak, hazy, toxic, irradiated, dangerous, and deadly. And I think they achieved that goal very well. Thanks for watching, everybody. What are your thoughts on the Glowing Sea? Do you enjoy it as much? I am an Instagram boyfriend. Right now, the gold chicken tacos are Red Dead Redemption 2. much for your patience. I just got home performing an unexpected but sadly unavoidable errand. Of course. There's one. I'll find the other one.
Started.
Almost done. No, that's not it.
Anger goes over limits. This is actually the perfect video for him. He is very lucky he's in a server with me. What if all crime on Earth was legal for 24 hours? 12 hours. That is the plot of a movie called The Purge. So, emergency broadcast. Weapons of class 4 and lower have been authorized for use during the Purge. All other weapons, wait, there's more. Commencing at the siren, any and all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 continuous hours. I'm not laughing at murder, but, let me whip up one of these real quick. So, I want to do a Purge on Roblox, but the thing is, I'm scared that people will just wait inside their homes in their safe little place. So I'm gonna pull a Fortnite, and I'm gonna, like, make a storm come in. You know what I'm saying? Like, so people have to slowly merge into one spot, and then they all have to fight each other to the death. Alright, let me show you how I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna take, I've used this in, like, every admin video, but I'm gonna take these lava spikes, and I'm gonna turn that into, like a storm, like in Fortnite. Alright, so if anybody touches this, they die a very painful death. So that's gonna be like the Fortnite storm that just comes in and slowly will kill everybody. Well, very quickly. It's a one hit and you die. Okay, it took a sec, but as you can see, the storm is here. And I have blocked off the spawn, so if someone dies, they're completely stuck in there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give everyone some guns. They're all just gonna go at it, take all their pent-up anger out on each other. I'm tired of people either not leaving us alone, hitting on me, or being rude. Period. Just stop hitting on her and start hitting her with bullets. You have to friend, team, me, baby. Mind, what do I do? There's nothing fun. Midnight blood? You're about to create some midnight blood out here, brother. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna team everyone here, let them know that they're all about to die except for one of them. Only one of them gets the victory royale. They're all gonna get guns. They're gonna have to decide what they're gonna do with their families. It's gonna be terrible.
Growing well.
Midnight blood, mind, I'm too bored. Alright, music. Danger, danger! All crime, including murder, will be legal in the server. Look at this nice family. You'll all receive guns in a moment. Pick a place to hide. What the? After a few minutes, the store will start closing in. Stay with the ones you trust. You will all receive guns. Baby, I'm scared. You can take the alerts too? Alright, well, it looks like they trust each other. Guns will be given in 10 seconds. Get to a safe place with ones you trust. I can't say I can't say the word 10, but I can say trust. I don't trust anyone! Alright, let's see. I feel like that person's just gonna light both of them up. Alright, everyone's gonna get guns. Oh, they're ringing the doorbell. They want in. Alright, everyone has guns now. Oh god, I already hear shooting. Oh god, no! Look at this! They're shooting the turtle! Oh god! I knew it! Ah! No! I knew they would start killing him. The girl refuses to shoot. Oh god, they hate that guy. Alright, this looks like the safe place. Either that, they're all too newbie to understand how to use guns. Oi! She's taking her baby and running. Alright, what's going on over here? Okay, this is the safe house. They're still shooting in here. This guy is really making sure that turtle's dead. Oh, now they're shooting each other. They're up together against the turtle. Now look. Oh god. Oh, look at her. No. She has a gun. She just refuses to shoot back. She's locked in. No. Oh my god. She unlocked the door and ran out. She should have locked the door, like, to lock them in there. They would have died to the storm eventually. Like, for one stacking up award. Yeah, I'm stacking up torture and pain for people. All right, definitely like 4 people have died already. All right, they're just. That is not even a real person. They're just picking on them just to do it. So they've teamed together. I'm gonna have to force them to go against each other soon, though. All right, what's going on? Who's shooting? Did you lock the doors? I love this. They're all hiding with each other. All right, they're just patrolling the streets looking for new people to kill. This is what I wanted. You know, in a bit, I'm gonna just start taking their house apart. So there's like a glitched noise coming out of this house, and they're really trying to investigate and trying to track it down and get in there, but I think they just realized it's not actually happening. Oh god! Look! He killed the cat, he killed her! Bro, they got guns too! Oh, his partner was an idiot and touched the storm, so he died. No, this guy really hates the world. He has been training for this moment all of his life. Why would they try to leave the house? Oh, the guy right there is hiding behind a tree. He doesn't see him! Look at that! He's making a break for it. Over to the house. No! No, no, no. Okay, he still didn't see him. I'm too scared! Alright, this guy's still just patrolling the streets, making sure everything is safe for himself. This girl is really small, so she's the water. This guy wants blood. Oh, God. Oh, God. Guys, they're not even firing back. Not even the children are safe. I wonder who's actually besides that. They're actually being pushed out by the walls. Oh my God, this guy. I'm still alive! You idiot! I feel like I gave a pretty fair warning there. They're really, like, even if a person doesn't actually exist, they're still going after them. Look at them trying to get up this just to shoot these people who aren't real. Everybody's just stuck in this box right now. Alright, he's just doubly making sure that this cat is dead. Is most certainly dead. Oh, you ran into it! Alright, I think that actually makes Isaac the final winner. Let me just close in this just to make sure. Alright, Isaac is the winner of the first Roblox Purge. I can say guns, I can give people guns, but I can't say numbers. Alright, let me teach them a valuable lesson real quick. But in life, there are no real winners. Alright, you are now free. Except now, I have to show you there really are no winners. You are now all being nuked. Wow! Well, there goes that server. Oh my God. No winners allowed. Wait, what? So much. New Baker! I don't do not die. Right? Time to set the alarms for the new server. What's that sound? Warning, everyone will be given guns and all crime will be legal. Find shelter and stay with people you trust. Everyone will have a weapon. Guns will be given shortly. Find shelter or be killed. Somebody is crying. I created tears. What? Please, can I come in? Oh my God, they're all trying to get. All right, I'm handing out the guns. Find your own shelter. Leave her alone. Oh God, people are shooting. They're shooting. Oh my God, they're killing the bacon noob. Stop it. Oh no, no, you didn't let them in. Now we're gonna die. We have to hide. Then we will die. Retarded helpman, please don't kill me. Oh my God, this guy hates everybody. Like 3 people already died. Well, there's one mother down. That's not fair. Alright, we have one lady hiding inside of the... We have 2 ladies hiding inside of... Okay, she ran out. It's a terrible idea. You're just being gunned down. He cannot be stopped. She just rang the doorbell. They're trying to get in. Hi, Love. Hi, Love. Just start shooting her. No, wait, please stop. She locked that guy out. She's just locking everybody out. Look, they want in really bad. Look, he won't shoot you. He promises. Oh, where'd your house go? Oops. You gonna shoot her or what? Well, I had nothing to do with it. Alright, what's going on with this lovely family? This guy just sprang into the air. Yeah, pretty much everyone died like really, really fast. He's just patrolling the streets to find one last person. And that one last person is oh God, there's one more person running around. Maybe this cat? Hey! Killing this innocent man right there. Oh, what are you... Hi! What are you guys doing? Don't you die on me! Please! This guy really wants to die right now. Pretty sure these are the last one. Jake, don't do it. Don't do it. Oh God! No, he's doing... Wait! Stop! Stop it! Jack, why would you do this? You loved her, Jack. You loved her. You are pushing away the ones you love. He just looks like he doesn't know what to do with himself anymore. Oh, looks like he knows exactly what to do with himself. Did she leave? She got scared and left. I kind of feel bad for him. He had a mission and now he can't complete that mission. She ruined his life. Now I will ruin everybody else's life. Just a quick one of those. I'm gonna just keep doing it. I'm gonna just spam it a little bit and just see what happens. Just a few more of those. Alright, it's... Something bad happened. Oh God. I think I broke the server. Oh, not... Stop! Sorry to anyone who, like, I can't see. I think it's over. Oh God, no, it's not over. It's still going on. I hate this. I think I messed something up. I'll just click it like 20 more times, just to let everyone know what's going on, and then I'm gonna leave and be safe in my own little safety bubble. Let me know any other things you want me to do with admin. I've been wanting to do Purge for a while. I just got the crazy with the AK-47 game, so then we get to have
Playing
that
games with me
This is the Nest Hub Max from Google. It plays live TV, and you can pause it with magic. Ta-da! Un-ta-da! Ta-da! Ta-da! Curious Snow snacks made with real veggies can have taste you never imagined. We're all gonna be a good fight. Rice, green peas, and beans. Keep feeding them. Alternative path.
Luna, you better be worth it.
Sorry guys, I'm just checking the time. Well, here's the railroad. 8:20. Oh god. It's only 8:20, guys. My stream is just to show a glitch, but you know.
A chemical leak has been detected. Please evacuate the building immediately.
Oh shoot. Nothing. What the?
Evacuate the building.
Oh, man, yeah. This really nice car here, you got a Hagrid, but you turned down some polygons, and oh boy, it's something. My name is Zach. When I smell a random scent that takes me back to my childhood for a brief moment. Yeah, isn't that weird how that works? Also, I would die for it. The AC is on, he has water, and he's listening to his favorite music. And it's another Baby Yoda. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm already loving this subreddit. This is going to be a great video. I'm here in Bikini Bottom at a little burger joint, the Krusty Krab. Their famous Krabby Patty has all the locals talking. Time to check it out. I love Guy Fieri. When y'all chilling and she sees the outline of your 32-inch flat screen TV from your local Best Buy in your sweatpants, yeah, you know she wants that. I'd want that. My dumbass getting ready for plans I made when I was in a good mood.
A chemical leak has been detected. Please evacuate the building.
That's me, like every day of my life. Frick your dumb brown seat. This post is made by Gracie Game. Look at this little dude. What's he doing? Whatever he wants. When you hold the door for an elderly person and they call you a handsome young man, that is a handsome young man. I can confirm. Me during reasonable hours of the day, I never want to do anything in my life ever. 3 a.m. I have to learn how to play the piano immediately. Plant. Look, this is the first rock that comes up when you search huge freaking rock. Let's congratulate him. I better see some congrats in the comments. We strapped a GoPro on a bee to see why bees are dying, and boy did we find out quick. This teacher helped save her student's life by donating her kidney. My teacher marks me as absent when I'm in class. 12-year-old me when I see the moon during the day. What the frick? When they ask you any extra talent at the job interview, yeah, I mean, that can get you a job easy. When your boss lowers your wage so you lower the water supply to the Chernobyl nuclear reactor, looks like they couldn't handle the neutrons.
Evacuate the building.
That's a pretty name. It's the name I'd want to give one of my twin daughters. What do you want to name the other daughter? Duplicate. My Wi-Fi, 1,000 feet. Holy cow.
You special kill.
What's happening? I'm in this photo and I don't like it. Baby, teens, 9-to-5 job, death. My mom, gracias, the Japanese waiter in a Japanese restaurant. Roses are red, mercury's in thermometers. Invincible moose, next 5 kilometers. This moose is so infamous and powerful. They had to make a sign dedicated to him.
This is the Nest Hub Max from Google. It plays live TV, and you can pause it with magic. Ta-da! Un-ta-da! Ta-da! Ta-da!
My TV is pretty much
Please evacuate the building.
I know how much your family loves Disney. Me turning off the fan because it's cold and everyone else on the helicopter. Redditors seeing the number 69. Now I will laugh. Me. I made a meme. My brain. Did anybody press the button? Me. Many people press the button. Brain. Excellent. You may now have the good chemicals. What? Me, hiking in a genuinely great mood, gets to a cliff edge. Wow, look at the view, it's gorgeous. My brain, what if he jumped? Well, now, the other organs in my body. It's not actually doing right. My class, test, class next to us. This is accurate, I can hear the speech. 6-year-old me after I changed my sister's meaning. But, run away like he must that makes toothpaste. Will all dentists agree? They will disagree. Teeth and toothpaste commercials. My teeth. Just Dance 2020 sold more on Nintendo Wii than Xbox One and PS4. Everyone, how are you not dead? I have no idea. You can control white people by giving them cheese. Cheese is so good though. Got one.
I got one.
Literally any book comes out. New York Times. Bestseller. May I go to the bathroom, please? Red Bull release date 1987. Birds in 1986. I'm a Pokemon gym leader from the early part of the game. 2 Pokemon, both level 15 or below, neither of them evolved. My job is to get the crap kicked out of me by children on a daily basis. I'm the most respected person in town. The jokes I make, my therapist, I'm digging them up. Massive amounts of childhood trauma. Holy cow. Young thug. Hey, frick cancer. J. Cole has not made any comment on cancer, possibly pro-cancer. 7-year-old me in a corner of the pool. Alright, I'm in this image, and I don't like it. I came up with a new pain scale idea. No pain, mild, moderate, severe, severe, very... I could hear this image. Shopping cart wheels be like... aren't one of them supposed to be like... not matching? Did this person do the meme right, or am I missing something? Am I missing a joke here? I'm a veteran Minecrafter, okay? The U.S. flag code does not actually specify how the 50 stars in the U.S. flag are supposed to be arranged. This is 100% What?
This is Wi-Fi from Google. Yeah, there's a and a Wi-Fi port hospital 2 rooms away. Together, they light your home and all the internet. So you'll be able to watch and do and play whatever you want. I mean, come on.
Half brother is 6'3". Right? Imagine if you were a full brother. I get it. Me, going through my rebellious phase. My grandma tells me I look handsome in all black. I don't like to feel good. I like to feel evil. Yeah. Michelangelo was only 24 years old when he completed the piano sculpture. The fact that he was a turtle makes it 10 times more fascinating. Teacher, I'm not going to teach this. You'll learn it next year. Next year. Teacher, I'm not going over this because you should have learned it last year. Huh? What? Adam Driver looks like someone tried to draw Keanu Reeves from memory. Okay, but this is actually true, though. Girl in gym yelling at me to stop staring at her. Me with negative 3.25 vision in both eyes. Often I'll see advertisements for porn games, and they say try not to nut, but when you play the game, it seems like the object is to nut. So yes, I would call that bad game design. Shigeru Miyamoto on his revolutionary career at Nintendo. 2007. I'm the mascot of an evil corporation. 2019. I love they actually kept that scene in the Simpsons movie on Disney+. Mad Lads. We're best friends. I should not be able to emotionally identify with a floss container. Old friend, how have you been doing recently? How's the girl been? Oh, she left me. My mom died too. My dad got deported. But I got the van. 7. 7. People who call instead of text. Me. Come on, who doesn't text these days? Who calls on a mobile phone? Did you know, an Australian guy, Bill Morgan, was declared dead for 14 minutes. He somehow survived. To celebrate his survival, he bought a scratch card and won a $27,000 car. The media and news asked him to reenact the scratch card moment, so he bought another card and won another $250,000 jackpot. God is trying to apologize. Oh snap, my bad, bro. Me changing my settings mid-match. Protect. He attack, but most importantly, he multiply snack. 300 BC. Why do we want to be a good person? 1100. Why do we desire the truth? 1700. Why do objects fall to Earth? 2019. Why does ha make hot but who make cold? I'm talking about mouth wind.
This is the Nest One.
Oh. Oh. Dead. If you guys have any questions that why I don't play Fortnite anymore, that's your answer why. I just don't. It's not my game really anymore. Guess I was good at it, but now I don't care.
And it even has a button.
Love it when some people put down their phone and just live in the moment. That guy's doing okay. When a kid says they want to be like you when they grow up, thanks, but reconsider. Can I clot to prevent injury? To prevent injury? Yes. Actually, Clausen travels to brain like a boss. Stroke time? He's cured. Actually, if you look at the heart monitor, he's flatlining. He's cured. A miracle. When you wanted the window seat, but Pope Francis was quicker than you. Damn it, Pope Francis. She, he, they, we. Things I love. How much I love it. Birth, time, current age, sex, boobs, pizza, doing absolutely nothing, crying for no reason, and working. Don't tell me about wind in miles per hour again. Trash can wind meter. Lid flipped open, tipped over, in the neighbor's yard, down the street, I've lost my trash can. 47 days till 2020. Me, still processing my 2016's problems. Guy, gets hit in the balls. Every guy within a mile radius. My mom pouring apple cider in a champagne glass at a party. 8-year-old me. Me, high looking at myself in the security camera at CVS. It's him again. It's him. Me, buying GTA 5. Steam who thinks I'm 168 years old. Disney Plus? No thanks. I actually enjoy ads of huge 3D titties bouncing violently on my computer before I watch Moana for free online. This is the part of the GameCube intro Nintendo doesn't want us to see. VPNs. Yes, this is how they work. 100%. I failed all my exams, but the pigeons accepted me as their leader, so I have that going for me. Oh no. Yeah, this is, that's definitely not very good. Nobody's born cool, except, of course, the guy that put 11 chicken nuggets in a 10-piece. When the smart kid of the class corrects the teacher. True. Girl says hi to me. Me, just be normal, my brain. Stay hydrated, this is a threat. When your head's falling apart, but you're staying positive. I mean, yeah, look at the view. Not everything's bad, as it seems. Wait, I can explain. You're getting 100% opacity while I'm only getting 50%. 50%, I'm getting 25%. Void. Stop exploring the ocean. We all know what water is, thanks. There's no single damn thing in there I want to see. We found everything that tastes good. 1, crab. 2, fried shrimp. 12,301,320 undiscovered jellyfish go to hell. Boss, what's on me today? That is a good caption. I never would have thought of that. Halo 3, 5 out of 5 from Microsoft. That is good. Me. Also me. Yeah, this is, yeah, I'm in this image. What my microwave sees at 1 second. I couldn't keep it together.
more than 80 firearms and 3 skulls found in Cannibal Corpse guitarist's home. Cannibal Corpse, popular. Hammer, smash face. I have guns in my house for murder. Evisceration play. And just like that, we've reached the end of r/BRL, but we have some fan art from Reddit user Orange Sock Ninja YT. I'm an aspiring concept artist, 50 years old, and I decided to take inspiration from the channel logo, Damien and Zach's luxury star car. And look at that sweet ride. I love the OK hand for the wings. That is super cool, super cool. Thank you. And
Well,
Nice.
Anyway,
I've got a few minutes to browse.
I've got just the thing for you. If I could just get my hands on a table, I think I can make some.